Hey guys, I'm Jen. I just got back from Cuba and I wanted to share some Cuba tips with you while it's still fresh in my head because I'm not getting any younger and sometimes I forget things. So yeah, sharing it with you while it's still fresh. Last week, I shared a video with you guys explaining the two worlds in Cuba. In Cuba, there's a world for tourists and foreigners, and there's the world for local Cubans. I also went into legal travel as an American, so be sure to check it in the video description below. I'll link to that video. Today, I'll be sharing travel tips with you for before you go to Cuba and during your trip in Cuba. We'll cover things like booking, what to pack, transportation, money, lodging, and how to have a local experience. Regarding where to go in Cuba, there are so many places to see, and it just depends on how much time you have. We had 10 days and we did Havana, Vinales, Trinidad, and Varadero. Ideally, if I were to do it again, I would do 3 days in Havana, which is the capital of Cuba. I would visit Vinales, which has beautiful views and farms, and it's so lush.
Breakfast with a view.
And I would also go to Trinidad, which is a colonial town. And you can also go to a beach nearby, Playa Ancon, which was really nice. If you want to go to the beach, you can also squeeze in Varadero. Although Varadero is very, very touristy. Now, you might be scratching your head thinking, okay, great, now I want to go to Cuba, now I know where to go, but where do I stay? I would highly recommend Casa Particulares. So Casa Particulares are private rented rooms, oftentimes in the homes of Cuban people. And so you get that really local experience and you get to be with Cuban families.
This is our room in a Casa Particular in Havana.
What makes it easy to book a Casa Particular nowadays is that you can book via Airbnb. For booking, you can either book yourself independently just by going online, or you can use a service like Viajero.
I used Viajero to help me plan my trip because then you get paired with a local guide who gives you insider tips and helps you prepare an itinerary, and it even comes with an offline app that you can use in Cuba.
And so I really enjoyed using the service, but I think for many people, they can just book by themselves. I had a friend who went in December who booked by herself and it was no issue at all. All right, packing. There are very limited supplies in Cuba, so you really have to bring everything that you need.
Here are some things to pack which I thought were worth mentioning. Other than sandals, you want good walking shoes because a lot of the streets are cobblestone or sometimes they're dirty. So yeah, you're definitely going to want those. You want sunscreen to bring with you, shampoo because some places don't have it, bug spray. I use this to keep the mosquitoes away. Hand sanitizer. You want to stay clean and healthy. So hand sanitizer, because you're not going to be used to the bacteria there. We also brought Pepto-Bismol for when that fails and your tummy's not feeling well, hence the toilet paper. Some places don't have toilet paper, so I recommend bringing that. And just in case you're not feeling well, ibuprofen. Whatever meds you need, bring them because they're going to be difficult to get. Oh, and bring an umbrella too because it rained a lot while we were there and there was even a tornado.
Another thing regarding packing is that you can bring gifts if you want. Bring anything. Cubans would appreciate anything. Shoes, clothes, vitamins, pens, whatever you can bring would be incredibly helpful. Money. Now we're gonna talk about money. Well, I don't have any money, so I can't make it rain here, but money. You should know that for Americans, your credit cards and your ATM cards do not work, so you actually have to bring all of your cash. If you're from Europe, for example, it's not an issue. You can use your European bank card.
No matter what, it's good to bring a lot of cash, euros if you can.
US dollars have a 10% penalty fee for exchanges. So if you're bringing American dollars to exchange, you are getting docked for that.
One CUC is worth a little bit more than $1 in 2019.
Now, budget. Yes, budget. You have to budget. I would budget 100 CUCs worth per day just in case, because a lot of things you'll have to pay with cash. Apps. Let's talk apps. Since the internet is very limited in Cuba, you're going to want to download a few apps that are really going to help you when you're there.
An essential app is maps.me, mobile offline maps, and you can download the one for Cuba so that you can use it for navigation offline. Also, if you don't speak Spanish, you're going to want to download Google Translate offline on your phone with the Spanish version.
Now, let's talk about context. I think it is really important before you go to a place to learn about the history.
Before arriving to Cuba, we watched a Netflix documentary called Cuba Libre, which gave us better background on Cuba.
All right, so you made it off the airplane, you've arrived in Cuba. What are the things to first do? Well, the first thing to do is exchange your money. You can exchange your money at cadecas. These are money exchange counters where you can exchange your money into CUCs or CUPs. CUCs are the tourist currency and CUP are the local currency. Transportation. To get around in Cuba, you have taxi options, or you can also take buses. Taxis are very, very expensive. For example, we took a taxi from Havana to Trinidad, and that cost 140 CUCs. But the good thing about taxis is that they can come pick you up wherever you are. They're very convenient, they're very comfortable, and you can make whatever stops you want along the way. Another option that is much cheaper is taking the bus. There is a bus service called Via Azul in Cuba that is pretty comfortable, quite on time, and much cheaper. From Trinidad to Varadero, each ticket was only 20 CUCs.
However, the bus schedule is limited and it may sell out, so you want to book in advance.
Ooh, now we get to my favorite topic, eating and drinking. So you can eat at paladares, which are private restaurants, and they are often very, very delicious. So other than paladares, you can go to local places as well and get things like street food pizza. You can get sandwiches. Cubans eat a lot of beans, rice, meat. Ropa vieja is delicious. It is shredded meat. Also, their roast chickens are amazing. Cuba is known for rum. There's no shortage of things to drink in Cuba. But I do want to give you a warning regarding drinking. I beg of you, drink only bottled water. And if you're going to have ice, be sure to know that it's a trustworthy place, because we kind of learned that the hard way. Fortunately, we had Pepto-Bismol, which we popped like candy. A question that a lot of people have is safety. Is Cuba safe? Yes, it is incredibly safe. And in fact, Cuba is one of the safest Latin American countries. So overall, the crime rate in Cuba is very, very low, and there's rarely any violent crimes. Okay, now let's talk culture, which is something that is near and dear to me because That is why I travel, to really get to know different cultures and different people around the world. And to get the full experience, I think you really need to get outside of the touristy areas. You don't get the full Cuba experience until you look beyond the tourist lens and try to see what life is like as a local.
And I like staying in central Havana because it feels very real. It's not that touristy and you can get the local vibes here.
I highly recommend booking a local guide to walk you through the city, whether that's Havana or somewhere else, because then you can ask a local guide questions and you can feel free to ask them real questions like, hey, what is life really like here? Speaking of locals, the people of Cuba are the true gems of Cuba. The Cubans are so resilient, so nice, so friendly, so warm. When you're in the streets, be sure to smile and wave at people because they will smile and wave back, or they might even say hi first. Communication. So I know a lot of us are used to being connected all the time, but guess what? That's not going to happen in Cuba because Wi-Fi is very, very limited.
You need to buy Wi-Fi cards to access the internet.
You purchase them at the telecoms company Etexa, and they come in 1 hour, 30-minute, or 5-hour denominations. It's 1 CUC per hour. Now, an insider tip about the cards: make sure to buy what you need in one go because the lines can get really long. We waited for 1 hour outside the Accommodation store in Havana while getting our cards.
Internet access, the great equalizer. We're all in line to get internet.
You then take the card and you go somewhere with Wi-Fi, which could be a Wi-Fi park. I mean, there are people gathered around parks all the time on their phones. All right, guys, I really hope that you found this video useful. Please subscribe if you liked it, and I'll be sharing more of life's adventures and advice with you. Also, if you have any questions, please ask in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.